Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to the show. I have the lovely Lorie Ladd here with us today. Would you like to say hello to our beloved community?
Hi everyone. It's good to be here. Good to spend the next however many minutes that we have together, an hour. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and so I think I've kind of teed, if people are listening to my show over the last couple of weeks, I've shared that I've been having some pretty profound experiences with Mother Mary, and I was in a deep devotional time and received this impulse to reach out to you. And it's interesting because I followed you a couple years back, and then I went through a whole excavation of my life and really stopped consuming essentially everything for a few years. And only up until recently did I start to kind of peep at what you were doing and take a peek at what you were doing again. And I started seeing you sharing about your relationship with Yeshua. And right after I received that impulse, it was like, we get to talk about this, invite Lorie on the show and talk about her relationship with Yeshua and how it's changed her life. And your
Mm.
response from your community, which I'm sure has probably been all across the board. And so it feels like we just get to talk about Christ consciousness and what that actually means and who these archetypes of consciousness, who they are to us and how to anchor that into our bodies. So is there anything that you want to share about that? Maybe just start by saying like, how do you, I like, when somebody asks you like, what do you do? Who are you in the
Yeah.
world? What do you say?
I'm just so happy to have this conversation. I literally could talk about Yeshua for hours. It's just incredible what's sweeping the planet in terms of that energy, which you called Christ consciousness. But it's interesting because I started off in a very different place in my service work. I didn't start my service work until I was 43. I'm now 50. So it took me quite some time to sort of step into it. But when I did step into it, I became a channeler really quickly. It was like I didn't try to. I just started channeling. Um, when I did this commitment to start serving humanity, I would sit, and then all of a sudden this image would come into my room, and then I would start channeling, and then I'm like, what is this? And it just sort of, my service work always just takes me, and then I just show up and trust whatever comes through, and whatever, wherever I'm guided. I never try to control it. Um, and so for many years, I did a lot of channeling, and I wrote a book that was channeled. And then COVID hit, and I was guided to start sharing daily about what was happening in this more awakened collective awakening, um, and the evolution of human consciousness and the real nitty gritties of it in our everyday life and what we were experiencing. So I spent a couple of years just doing that every day. Got totally burned out and was like, I don't want to show up on social media. I don't like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really hit a wall. That was like in the end of 2022, beginning of 23. And I went into a deep state of a deep awareness practice for about a year. So I was still showing up, and doing my everyday stuff, but I went deeper into awareness. And that's when I started to connect with Yeshua. So I didn't plan it. I wasn't like, I didn't think I would be where I am today at all. Um, but I just started a deeper awareness practice, and I made this real strong commitment in June of 2023. I called Yeshua in. I was in the bath, and I'm like, yo, like I will like really be upset if I end this human experience and I don't get as close to sort of mastering what you were able to do. Like if I don't focus on that as my sole commitment, um, I'm going to be so disappointed in like the gift of this human experience, right? I wanted to be able
I
to.
just I just have to interrupt. I want like a laugh wants to come out because I love how you were like, yo, I just want to just presence. Like this is it. It's just a conversation,
That's
shoulder to
it.
shoulder, like a brother. So it just had to come out of me like, yo,
that
Jesus.
that's like that's my relationship with him is like that. It's like how you
Yeah.
would I think that, and I think that's, I don't know if you go to church. I started going to church, but I go to this like the churches have changed. Like it's like you're singing like cool like rock music and like the pastor's just like a normal dude with like a t-shirt on and just like
Yes.
talking about everyday life and I'm like, "Whoa, this stuff has changed." So like the
Mhm.
consciousness of all of it is changing and I think
Yeah.
how we connect with Yeshua, Jesus, whatever the word is that resonates with you, that's changing. Um but yeah, back
Mhm.
in June I just said I'm so down for like learning from you and um I don't know what it looks like, but let's go. And that's really, and I let go of like figuring out what
Yeah.
that was going to look like. I just brought him in as often as I could, every day, just tried to connect with him and with
Mhm.
an awareness, a conscious awareness of like, I'm bringing him in, I'm training under him, kind of like in a way. Just having his energy around me brings that awareness to me. Yeah, and so, there's story after story, as you're well aware of, when you start to kind of bring this energy into your field, it's very, very different
Mhm.
than anything I don't even have word. I don't even know where to start with like what how he has changed my life. But it's completely different. Like, and I was thinking in a way like, oh, I'll be able to kind of keep this to me. Like this is just like a side thing, like a side hustle, because I'm in the spiritual community. You would consider it kind of like more of the new age spiritual community. That's really where I started, and that's a huge amount of my following. Although there is a huge amount of my following that's the awakened kind of truther type of group as well. If you had to like kind of, the awakened community, the one that are,
Yeah.
moving into more of like what's going on the planet, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. But there was a lot of new age people, and I'm like, ooh, this is not going to go over well. Like, this is going to be a real, I'm like, I'm just going to see how long. I knew it would
Yeah.
eventually have to come out, right? But I was like, how long can I go until I have to start talking about this? And believe it or not, it has been much more difficult than me sharing about COVID and all of that stuff. That was easy for me back then, even though nobody was really sharing about it and you get your account canceled and all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Nothing has been more challenging than talking about this man. It's wild. It's wild to kind of wrap your head around that concept, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Well, can
so
we talk
yeah.
about that challenge for a minute? Like, is that more internal or are you getting a lot? I know that I've seen a few posts where you've shared that some people are not receiving it. I'm sure. Is it like the majority of people are receiving it with open arms? Are you getting a little bit of everything? Are you getting people unfollowing you in the masses? Like, I would love to hear, is it more around your community that was used to you showing up a different way? Or do you feel that it's ancient and it's like really this repatterning and reprogramming of,
Mm.
yeah, who Jesus is to the collective?
Oh, that's a really good question. Oh, it's a really beautiful point you brought up. It's both. I mean, it's both because I love how you said that. What did you call it? What did you say? Reprogramming? That was
And repatterning, yeah.
repatterning. Oh, that's exactly what's happening. I could not have said it better. It's a repatterning, it feels like, in our collective makeup in a way,
Mhm.
our DNA, um, of what Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, you brought up Anna, grandmother of Jesus, like these amazing humans, like and Jesus, Yeshua, like what the imprint of and so many more, right? But the imprint specifically of Yeshua and his role. Um, I just think that it's really interesting how diversive or not diverse, divisive it is, how it's how
Mhm.
it's like you repel from it or you are a yes. It's just this real fascinating um divide that I really didn't understand until I started to speak more about it out loud.
Yeah.
But it's a knee-jerk reaction to those of us that have been in the spiritual community for a while, like the new agey type of spiritual community. It's a knee-jerk reaction of like, ooh, why you what like Jesus. Like it's not even
Mhm.
something you think about.
Yeah.
It's that unconscious pattern of like that means Catholicism or Christianity. That means you're a sinner. That means you only worship him. That means that he's the only way to God. That means that you are bowing to a priest. Like, and it's not something we consciously are thinking. It just comes in. It's part of that pattern, like you said. And so, yeah, it's what I've been noticing myself doing is repatterning, helping people think about this man in a different way. And most of my community has been really receptive. I've had a handful of people let me know how disappointed they are.
Mhm.
Um,
Oof.
yeah, and how I am a false light or a false this.
Oof.
And I just pray for them. Honest to God, I just pray for them and I just hold them, I just pray over them because um, you know, not because they're doing it wrong, but there must be a lot of pain in them if they're going to reach out like that and try to kind of let me know how their opinion is of me. So I've had a handful of those. I'm sure there's more that have not said anything.
Mhm.
Um, my online community that I have in on a platform, they've actually been really supportive, which is just I'm so grateful for that. And w- it's pretty. I never knew what was going to happen as I started sharing, and I don't know what you've been experiencing in your community in your world, but people are more people have been coming out of the woodworks thanking me. Um, because they are starting to build a relationship with him in a different way. And they're having like their lives like they're becoming more peaceful. They're like, holy cow, this works. They're like, oh my God, I did what you said and I can't believe it. And like, so I think, because I'm not doing it, you're not doing it, right? We're not the ones doing any of it. It's just sort of we're the vessel, we're getting out of the way to kind of bring through um, the message. And the message is compassion and kindness and peace and calm and um, this for me it's been a lot, and this is a real trigger for people. I don't know why, but it is. We don't have to do it alone,
Yeah.
and we really don't have to do this alone, meaning like, we can all hold this appreciation and respect that we're souls, right? And that we are an aspect of God. But we can also have this real beautiful humility that, like, you know, we, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's okay to like,
To be flawed.
to be flawed. Exactly. Yeah. To be
And to go
flawed.
back into the patterns, right? And so now I'm connecting the dots as to like the similar resonance that we both carry, because one of my favorite things about you is how you're like, I wish I could talk about something else, but this is what's true for me now and this is what I'm going to share. And the human experience, right? Like the divine aspect of ourselves and the human aspect of ourselves, like being able to hold all of it. And I love seeing on YouTube, I believe that's what your Untangled series is it's like I'm walking this path with you. And I believe that is the energy of Yeshua as well, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of pain there. And I'm curious to know how you grew up. So I grew up Catholic. I grew up in the Catholic school. I
Oof.
never felt a relationship with, like, I always just felt like, I don't understand this. Like, these people, I remember being young and being like, these people are doing this thing in church and then they're leaving and then they're like cussing at people and then they're cutting people off and then they're judging people. And I just didn't get it. And I would read these prayers and I wouldn't feel connected. I'm like, I don't understand. And through my own journey, I developed a deep spiritual connection. And I just said, like, that's not for me. Like
Mm,
that whole thing, I just put it in a box and said, that's not for me. And then I had some pretty powerful activations happening. I had a spiritual awakening several years ago. And I remember being in bed and I remember being afraid
mm.
because there was like things happening with my body and there were things that I couldn't understand and things were happening really quickly. It sounds like it was very similar for you. And I just started calling on Jesus. It just like
Wow.
came. And I
Wow.
just asked for protection and I just said, please, can I have a relationship with you? And it just felt like
Oof.
safe. And then I was at a retreat, and I would say this was probably 2020, 2021. And I have this deck here actually. It's this roomy deck, and I was guided to pick this card, and it was the Cloak of Christ. And I had this insane experience where I was reading this card sitting outside, and the clouds looked
Oof.
like your picturesque, just gates of heaven sky. And I felt, Lorie, in my heart, Yeshua said to me, this is what unconditional love feels like. And
Mm.
it was the most, I can't even put into words the feeling. And it was almost so hard for my body to hold it. Like it was like, I feel this and I can't. It was just like uncomfortable and amazing and euphoric at the same time. And honestly, it was after that moment that I received, you need to start talking about me. You need to start talking about this experience. You need to heal your relationship with Father God, Jesus, religion, and the church so that you can
Oof.
be able to have conversations with more people about this because it is a varying range of perspectives. And honestly, since that moment, I've devoted my life to very similar to you of I know that that is accessible to me and to you and to all of us. And so what is stopping me from having that feeling for my body to be able to hold that amount of love? And
What
that's
year
why we're
was
having
that?
this
What year was that?
2021.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very similar. Wow, it's very, very similar hearing you say that. So, um, but prior to that, would you have said you were in like a spiritual space? Like what were you what was your experience prior to like him coming in and being like, "Yo, you got to start talking
Yeah.
about this a little bit
Yeah.
more," but maybe not from such the religious perspective. Yeah, like what was
Yeah.
your life like prior to that?
So I didn't really have a name for spirituality. I have had some pretty like I've lost people very young. Like I've had some catalyzing moments like every decade of my life that brought me into this place of feeling connected to something greater, but I didn't have a name for it. I wasn't trying to be like a teacher or a guru in this way. And I was always like, "Oh, great." Like I would be like, "Oh, Lorie's a channel. Cool. Great. Like great for her. Maybe in my next lifetime." Like I believed in reincarnation. I've experienced grief in my lifetime, so I always had this I loved learning about other forms of religion and spirituality. And I would literally be like, oh, okay, let me try this on. Does this work? Cool. And I just loved, I didn't shun anything away except Christianity.
Except him.
And so everything happened very fast when all of a sudden I was having in 2020 a lot happening in my body. And it was almost like this spiritual maturation where it wasn't, I didn't want to put myself in a box. I didn't feel connected. I didn't want to say a new ager. Like I didn't want to say I'm a Christian. I just wanted to be me.
Mm,
And I felt
mm,
this deep desire to just share and to know that there was like this deep place of gnosis coming from this purest part of me. And I just started, honestly, just started sharing. And with the podcast, like I did an episode specifically called How I Healed My Relationship with Father God, Jesus, Religion, and the Church. So whenever anyone would like see something like in a 90-second reel, I would just say, hey, this is up to you, but here's like a 30-minute conversation with my community
um,
as to what's going
oof.
on. Yeah. So
Wow.
it feels beautiful because I feel like I can have conversations with people who are like evangelical Christians, and I can have conversations with new agers, and I'm not trying to convince, and I'm really not trying to, like, I'm just being me, and I just want all of us to be able to have a conversation because I believe we all have a piece of the puzzle.
I 100% agree. I mean, I think once you have I think the collective awareness around Yeshua and religion is going to start to be chipped away at. And I don't think I know that there will be a different and deeper understanding around his purpose on the planet,
Yeah.
um, not confined to that kind of religious more dogmatic practice. But what is so profound for me, and it sounds like with you, even though you grew up Catholic, I grew up no religion. I never went to
Yeah.
church. My mom was just super kind of out there spiritual aliens, like, you know, read this book
I
at
adore your mom,
13.
by the way. Whenever I've seen her in the past in some of your videos, I just adore her.
She's like, here, read this book. I was like 13. It's all about aliens. And like, I'm like, oh my, I was just a whole different
Yeah.
species back then growing up. But um, when you have, I think what's so beautiful to me about Yeshua that I mean, there's a thousand bazillion things, but um, when you have that connection, that moment that you had where it's like the Holy Spirit comes in, right? But it's very much connected to Yeshua. You can't
Go back.
ever go back. Like you're done.
Chills.
Yeah. I had a friend, my friend Joe Yee, he was never spiritual. I mean, he was always he's a psychiatrist, and we met during COVID and we would talk about kind of like the truth, the stuff that's coming out and all that stuff, right? So he was on that track, but we loved to connect because I had the more spiritual perspective. And I started talking about Yeshua a little bit in December, January, February, and he had a moment. He got real sick, and he didn't
Mm.
ask, but Jesus just came into his room and healed him. And
Mm.
he's Lori, what you're saying is real. It's true. Like he came in and like he did this and he did that, and I
Mm.
said, I know. If you're lucky enough to have that experience, um everybody has the same, like, what is that? How come everybody has the same, they all describe it the same, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
it's like when somebody starts to describe the moment that kind of Jesus really rattled them or came in, it's, it's the same. You're like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you
Yeah.
know, um, it's a softening. It's magic.
Mm.
It's miracles. It doesn't take away. I try to share this with people from my own experience. It's like having him in my life every day, walking with him. It doesn't take away what I go through. It's not like all of a sudden I don't have to navigate my thoughts or my insecurities or the lack that I feel or relationships with my friends and whatever. It's like that's still there. I just call him in and he's like, yo, like everything's going to be okay. Like, and there's this overwhelm, like this sense of calm that comes in. Um, and I don't know what questions you get the most, but that is the number one question for those that are resisting the message about Yeshua. They're like, well, you know, I think it's just, I don't think it's right that you just hand things over to him and he's just going to take it away from you. Um, and I said, well, it's a little different, but invite him in, see what happens. Don't listen to
Yeah.
me. Just invite him in and see what happens. That's all. Just invite him into your space and let him do the magic that he's here to do on this
Yeah.
planet, which is miraculous um what he's doing. And I think I don't want to take away from from Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, who you're connecting with, and all the other amazing souls that came down in these human forms. Um, but there is something unique about his energy. It's not, putting him on a pedestal, but from my experience, there is a very unique signature that he's here to play in. And I can't help but have this feeling that it is going to sweep this planet, um, and that it is going to awaken humanity's hearts. Um, I think that's why he came here. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
That's like putting words to that feeling, that awakening humanity's hearts. That's exactly. Thank you
yeah,
for articulating that in that way. And one thing that you presence that I think would be fun to dive into is this co-creation with the divine, where how I receive you is you're living your dharma, like you're following your soul path, you're doing the hard things, right? Like, well, I've got this relationship with Yeshua, like let's see how, right? Like you have fear, you have the same struggles that every other human has on this planet from time to time, right? We all go through the varying degrees of resonances and emotional states. And so it's not to say that we're just sitting here like you're not just sitting here on your couch saying, "Okay, Jesus, like I'm done." You are an active participant in your life and why you came here, and we don't have to do this alone, and we're not meant to. And yes, miracles happen. And so do you want to speak to that at all, that it's not to say that we're just calling someone in and sitting back and not taking responsibility for our life. And there's a beautiful dance that starts to happen
mhm.
when things are hard and when things are challenging and when the rug gets pulled out from underneath us, knowing that we have that support, especially from the support of Yeshua. So maybe answer that question, since you get that a lot in your community, because that's how I feel that this works is yes, it's a both and.
Yeah, it is. And I think this is why I'm so, nothing else really I mean, I talk about what the evolution is like, being human, and I talk about the human, like what we're going through in the human, every day, but nothing, it would be a disservice if I was not sharing about how Yeshua has come in and changed my life. And it's as simple as there is more calm and peace in my life than I've ever felt, ever, ever, ever. And nothing has changed in my life. I don't have more money. I'm not in love. I don't have a bigger house. Things aren't like, nothing's changed at all. He just comes in, man, and if you commit to believe, if you have the faith that he's there, right? When you call him in, you just have the faith because he comes, you knock, he's there, right? It's like you ask and he's there. There's no such thing as is he there? No, it's not a question. It's an absolute. And so you have to have the faith that no matter what, and that non-attachment or expectation, right? Of anything happening or feeling or hearing.
Yeah.
Um, and all I can say is my girlfriend, who started having a relationship with Yeshua a couple of years ago when she got cancer, and it really is why I started to have faith in him, because I saw how she started bringing him into her life during cancer. And I was like, oh my God, like what just happened? Wait, Jesus? Like what? Wait, you're doing what? Like, so I started hearing these personal message or personal experiences of her and Jesus. And I was like, wait, this is something real is happening here. So I knew that he could do some pretty miraculous things because I saw it in my girlfriend's. I mean, it was probably, I'm not even kidding, probably 20 things that were just like mind-blowingly miraculous. I'm like, eventually I was like, okay, I've got to start believing this. So that helped me have that faith. Um, But for me, she said to me, she said, Lorie, because I was like, I don't know, like, like I just it was struggling in the beginning of like, what is this relationship? What am I doing? She says it's like any relationship that you have with a partner. You're building intimacy
Mhm.
with him. And I'm like, what? She goes, you're getting to know him. It's like you're becoming more intimate. And I swear to you to this day, so it's been about what, almost 2 years, a year and a half, almost 2 years in June. She's right. Like I just had to keep
Yes.
going on dates with him almost in a way, right? And it gets deeper. It gets better. It's like I love him more and more. And it's so weird to say, but it's just like, holy cow, can it get even better? And it's so back to your question, it's like he doesn't take away, the things I'm going through. He's like a best friend that comes in every day and just sits with me. And he helps me feel like even today I was like, just help me open my heart. And even by asking him, because sorry, but I can't do it on my own. If I'm just like, Lorie, open your heart, there's something very egoic about it. Like, I'm going to open my heart. But when I call him in, it's like, let me help you. Like, Yeshua, just bring more compassion to me right now. Like, help me like see this in a different light, or just sit with me. There's been times where I'm like, just come sit, and like he'll be like, okay, hold out your hand, and we'll just hold hands. And like literally, I'm like, okay, it's a shift.
Mm.
And so I have no expectation of like, okay, he's gonna take my pain, or he's gonna take my anger, or my lack of not having enough money, or whatever I might be, my illness. Although well, I don't know if you heard the malaria story, but it was like, Jesus, I know you can do miracles. Take this malaria that I have
Was this
from
when you were
me.
in Kenya? Oh
Yes.
my gosh, you got malaria. I did not know that. Oh dear.
Girl, I got malaria a week before I had a big retreat that I was leading.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to call in the big guns. I'm like, Jesus, I saw you do so many miracles with my girlfriend. Like, I know you can do miracles. And do you want to know what he said to me? This was
I'm
6 weeks
ready.
or 6 days before, 6 days. I'd been in Kenya for a month. No, 5 weeks. 6 days before I had 20 people coming from all over the world, I get malaria. And so I call him in. I called him in every day, but I was like, please take this from me. I know you can take this from me. I know you can heal me. I have 100% faith. It's not about my faith. I'm like, I just need this taken care of. And he said, are you okay? Can you be okay with not being better?
Mm.
And I was like, yo, that's not how you work. It's not Jesus.
Like,
Like,
okay, do I get another question? Try again.
I was like, coming, and he just was like, so he comes in like an energy kind of like from like above my like, oh, like he was over here, and he's like, be okay with not being okay.
Mm.
And I sat there and I dropped into that, what he was asking of me, which was like, I'm not going to heal you. And can you be okay with that? It was a real direct, um, kind of like father type of like, and I was like, okay, like, do I have to heal you in order for you to trust me, in order for me to
Mm.
be here, in order for you to
Wow.
be in absolute faith of me? And I said, okay, I, I trust you so deeply. I don't need you to prove to me that you can heal me. And I dropped into that surrendered state of I can be sick. And every day I still sat with him. Every day he was with me. I just stopped asking him to heal me. I just prayed that the highest outcome would happen, and I was okay with being sick. And the morning of everybody arriving, I woke up and it was gone.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
completely gone. Um, And so that really changed me. I did say to him, I did make a little, I was like, okay, if you heal me, I swear to you, I promise this time I will talk about you forever. I
I think
will.
I saw you share something about that recently.
I like, okay, this time I'll talk about you because I keep telling him like, eventually, you know, but a lot of people got triggered by that. They're like, you don't have to, people get triggered by really interesting things. But anyway, it was just a conversation. And, yeah, it was awareness that it's not about him taking things from me or healing me. Like it's not like that. It's just a big brother or a loving presence that just gets to be there, and it miraculously, this, but it opens your heart. It's without doing anything. I'm like, whoa, I love people more than I ever have, and I haven't done anything to get there. I think that's why all I want to do is shout him from the rooftops, because my heart has opened in such a capacity, not because I've asked for it, or it's like I've just by bringing him in every day, it's like he wiggles in somehow, and like I don't know, it's like I don't know what it is, but uh it's heart opening. And so we talk about Christ consciousness, and that is heart, that's the heart opening.
Yeah, I'm curious what like do you have a different term for it, or like what is Christ consciousness to you? What does it mean to you?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's the collective consciousness's awareness is shifting. And I think Christ consciousness is when we have this dual lens of I am a human character. I'm human. I'm playing this human role. But we also have the lens of how our soul or how God would also see it. So um it's almost like there's two kind of lenses we start to see the world from, because I don't at all believe that we no longer play human. Like we're gonna have the ups and downs and the emotions and the triggers and the like we're gonna have that for quite some time. And so this Christed consciousness shift is more of um this natural process of becoming more unified, heart opening, but in like a super grounded human way where you're like, oh, this is what it is. Like, oh, wow. Like, tell me more about how you can't stand these things, and tell me more about how your perspective is so different from mine. And wow, like you just start to have this compassion, and you're like, oh, this might be a tad bit of how, you know, um, these humans that were able to really awaken on this planet, how they must have we're starting to kind of tap into how they must have been living. Um, but yeah, you got to take action. You got to take responsibility for your life. You can't just expect to sit back and let miracle be. I mean, it's not going to happen. So it's inviting him in and not having an attachment or an expectation, and then watching the magic unravel. Um, but I don't know about you, but like, yeah, I mean, I know you have a really strong relationship right now with Mother Mary. I'd love to hear about it. But I would also love to hear, has your relationship with Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene or Yeshua, has it gotten more intimate, like more like stronger?
For me, I find that it comes in waves. Like it's almost like there's some thematic or some like again repatterning or reprogramming that's happening, and like I don't they just come like, or I just get this like clear cognizance of like, this is who is here to assist you right now. And I just had, well, my son is now 14 months old, and I never had a relationship with Mother Mary. I mean, it was very, very like my relationship with Mary Magdalene was very, very, very strong for many years when I started my awakening journey. And I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then I invited Yeshua in, and it just happened, and it started deepening and
Mm,
deepening and deepening. And now I almost feel like it's like, for me personally, it's what am I moving through, and who do I believe can really help me in this moment? And
mm,
with Mother Mary, she told me she's the mother of mothers, and this journey has been so painful for me in so many ways.
mm.
I got pregnant moving, and so my husband and I live in a new area, and it's my son. We conceived my son the day we sold our house, so we knew, yeah. So we knew that this was the plan, not our plan, but the plan. My actually the Before we hit record, this call got rescheduled. Like we had to reschedule this, and I had told you that I knew there was a reason why we rescheduled. And my husband is now home because his mother is transitioning from cancer. She's under hospice care, and he's home right now
Oh,
supporting her in her
wow.
transition. And so I'm
Wow.
here alone. It's felt very isolating in a lot of ways. And I also feel that there's these two parallel paths of motherhood and also my service work. And I'm like, how, like, there's times where I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, I'm tired a lot, and I don't have a
Mhm.
lot of support here. And there's the emotional piece of my husband has now lost his father 5 years ago, and now we'll be losing his mother, and he's a father now. And all of a sudden, I just felt this impulse to go get my great grandmother's rosary. And I started praying the Hail
Oof.
Marys. And the house that I used
Mm.
to live at came with Mother Mary. Actually, this house that I live in now came with Kuan Yin. And before that was Mother Mary. And so you
Oh.
can't make this stuff up. And I
Oh.
asked my previous landlord, I've been under 5 roofs, Lorie, 5 roofs in a year and a half, pregnant and now moving.
5?
And yeah, pregnant and now with my son, 5 roofs in a year and a half. And I, just like you said, my life hasn't gotten any easier, but the level of trust that these homes are coming so, like these sanctuaries that are so protected. So I asked my previous landlord, there were 2 Mother Mary statues. I said, "Can I please have one?" And she did. She let me have it. And I set
Oh.
her, there's a waterfall on the land here, and this is literally my dream home. Like it's everything. That's a story for another day of how I called this home in. And I have a statue, and I've just been laying flowers at her feet, and I didn't have a
Oof.
relationship with her. I feel like that she came to me, and then she started speaking to me that she's the mother of mothers, and she's here to help me during this time in my
Mm.
life. And what she
Wow.
keeps telling me is your attachment is what exhausts you, because there's a lot of themes in my life around like expectation and how I thought my day was going to go. And I actually ran out of water, so my well ran dry last week. So my husband's been gone for 2 weeks. I have zero water right now, and I'm sitting here like there's a reason. Like I feel like resiliency is just
Mm.
building up inside of my vessel. And what would it look like to just not be attached and trust, like you did with Yeshua when you had malaria? Like, what would it look like to trust in the highest outcome? And that's the muscle that she's helping me strengthen right now. And it's been a very,
Wow.
very beautiful experience. So I've been praying the Hail Marys and line by line, and feeling it in my body, and feeling a connection where when I was a child had no connection to it. And so I can feel that there's these beings and archetypes and support systems that represent Christ consciousness for me that are coming in during different moments of my life to help anchor me into my body more in trust and faith and miracles. So,
Wow. Resiliency, it's such a that's such a powerful point. or awareness. Resiliency is it's
Yeah,
not like
tell me
life's,
more.
yeah, like, well, right? Like I'm tapping into the I like that you use the word resiliency because it's much more of a positive spin on going through hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm
Like,
like, oh, I'm increasing
yeah,
my capacity to hold more. But
yeah.
when I'm in it, I'm like,
Yeah.
ah,
It's like I'm resilient. And I'm like,
fuck.
dude, that's a brilliant way for just saying, like, it doesn't have to it's and for me, I don't have any expectation that life's going to get easier. I also am not negatively thinking
Oof.
life sucks, right? Like I'm not,
Oof.
and I think that's a
I
big
felt
piece
that.
of what Mother Mary is saying is like, listen, if you let go, if we let go of it getting easier or harder, right? Like just because you say, okay, life doesn't have to get easier, and I have no expectation of it getting easier, but that doesn't mean I'm focused on bad things happening. It means that I am not gripping that it has to be smooth. So there's a difference. Like, it's a big difference between focusing on bad things happening, right? Or just letting go of it having to be easy. Like when you just let go of it having to be easy, so I was like, okay, I'm going to have malaria during the retreat. I wasn't focused on, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to have malaria. It's going to be horrible. I let go of it going a specific way. And that is like, oh my God, it's okay. Like, I'm going to be okay. And that's where resilience comes in because it's like you're continuing to get run over by a car, right? You're like it's just like, is it going to end? But you realize that you're starting to be able to sort of drop deeper into being in what is, and not from this like, oh, but like, I mean, I think deep faith and deep trust is keeping our eyes wide open, saying, oh my God, I can't believe I have no water. And like, I'm exhausted. I don't know how to juggle. Like, being in what it is you're in with full transparency for yourself and compassion for yourself. Um, and then bringing in whatever it is that's like, I mean, Mother Mary's a beautiful energy because she holds that, and Kuan Yin, they hold that
Yeah.
compassion for you.
Right. They're both here, just
Yeah.
like she of a thousand tears. Yeah. It's like I just can feel all of this compassion, very divine mother energy. So that's the season that I'm in right now.
Wow. I mean, I feel like so many of us are in that season. It just looks differently. I think a lot of us are being kind of tested. And which is why for me, having this relationship with Yeshua has changed everything because I don't need the world to change. I don't need it to get better or easier. I mean, would I prefer it to be smoother than other? Sure. I mean, I'm not like, yeah, obviously, but when you know
Yeah.
that you have the big guns with you, you know, like you trust Mother Mary. You know that when you call her in, there it's not every single time, but you know that there will be some sort of um something else is with you when you're going through it.
Yeah.
It just helps. It just freaking helps because we're going through a transition on the planet where we have to let go of control more and more.
I feel like the last 10 minutes was really my medicine. I can't wait to go back and tune in. There's just this like softening that's happened in my body. And yeah, I can
Yeah.
feel this like weightlessness. And what's interesting about Mother Mary, she's come into my life multiple times, but my dog got out for about 5 hours. There's 14 acres here, and she was lost. And I mean, I was bawling. It was thick brush. It was her first time getting out, and I had my rosary. I was literally like, get my rosary. And that's when I started praying the Hail Marys. And she was with me the entire time. And she said, your attachment is what exhausts you. And I remember like yelling at her saying, I am attached. This is my fur baby and I love her. And like, I am attached. And then I had to go through all of the scenarios. What if she never comes home? What if I go out on the main road and she's hit by a car? What if she's hurt and she can't come back? And I just had to, it was like, can you be okay with that? So it's very similar to what you just expressed. Can you have malaria? Oh, I have full body, right? Can you host this retreat? So I got to come to terms with, if it is in the highest timeline for my dog and myself that she does not come home, I get to trust that, even if I don't understand it and even if it hurts. And that feels like what Christ consciousness is for me. So thank you for helping me strengthen that and really, really like anchor that in a new way.
Oof, man, oh man, what a beautiful, powerful message. I mean, we've both had experiences of it from in different scenarios, but it's exactly the same. When you are put in that position and you have the faith to trust, you hear that voice, you hear that nudge of basically letting go. It's a letting go in a way, right? That something bigger than you has you. Um, Something bigger, life has you. Like it's something bigger has you in each moment. Oh man, there is a fight that we have. We yell, right? We get to have that human reaction. But man, oh man, when you drop into it and you embody that, let that surrendered, when you feel that embodiment of it, it's like you get that glimpse of freedom in a way. Like you're free in that moment. It's the most beautiful experience, even though it's might not be a beautiful outcome, so to speak, but it's a beautiful feeling. You're completely detached. And then, I don't know for you about you, but then I go back in and I'm like, okay, now you get ruffled around, but you get to practice that. So once you have that kind of tattooed experience of what it felt like to really deeply surrender, that feeling state you had, once you're gifted with that, because you had the courage to stop and be in it, listen and follow that guidance, then you can't ever, it's like when you have that experience with the Holy Spirit or with Yeshua, you can't take that away. So you know what it feels like to really surrender. Um, and we can practice pulling that back up. That's the game. And my goodness, that's why I'm like, dude, I need all the help I can get. Yeshua, get in here today. Like, you know, because it's very easy to get taken away by life. That's the humility. We're humbled by life, by being human, by experiencing all this. What I mean by that is like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. So have you ever listened to or heard of the book Anna, Grandmother of Jesus?
You're like the third person that's told me I get to read that book, but I have not read it. I have not purchased it. But usually I wait till I get three little signs to read a book because I don't consume much anymore. So you're my
I
third.
Oh, then I felt it right away when we connected before we got on the podcast. I listened to it on audio. It was much easier um, to full blown
Okay.
activation.
Is it all about Grandmother Anna? Or you're not going to tell me?
It's
That's okay.
everything. It's Mary Magdalene's in it. Yeshua's in it. I mean, it's just mind blow. For me, it it's an activation where I'm like, this is absolute truth. And I feel like I've walked with her, or like I feel like it just activates a deeper remembrance. And yeah, like a library within you opens up and you're like, oh, okay, like, wow. Um, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And especially because you definitely have you have a lot of Mary Magdalene energy around you, like a lot.
I feel
So
like she's my, I don't know how to explain that, but that feels like like a truce. Like it feels like my lineage, honestly, with Mary Magdalene and Isis. Like I
100%.
can like trace the lineage back, and then I have all these other supportive allies that just kind of pop in. But yeah, Mary Magdalene has been my OG. She's who I
Yeah.
can be like, yo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I feel like you've definitely there is a deep connection and you have definitely without a doubt walked the planet with her. No doubt in my mind. Like you have walked this earth with her. Um yeah, there's a deep connection that you have with her. Just I can just feel it. I felt it immediately. I was like, "Whoa, she is Mary Magdalene energy. Holy cow." So, the Anna grandmother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene and the Magdalens don't come in until a little bit later, but it's fascinating because they just tell this she tells this story from like a behind the scenes of like what it was like for them and what their life
Yes.
yeah what their life was like and what it was like for Mary to have Jesus and Joseph,
Okay.
and it's just a really,
Yeah.
and she talks
I'm getting
about,
excited.
yeah, she talks about Yeshua and all the trainings he went through from the age
Oh
of
yeah, like the mystery
6.
schools. Oh yeah, this is
Yes.
totally my book. This is totally my book.
Yes.
I'm gonna order it tonight.
Dude, it's like it's mind-blowing what Yeshua went through and how Joseph trained him and how and
Yeah.
like and Mary Magdalene's role in all of it, right? Which is never talked about in the
No.
Bible. God bless the Bible, but it's not talked about in the Bible. So yeah,
Yeah.
you might
Okay.
really it takes she talks it's a long book, but if you do like audio books, like listening to it, listening to books, this is a listen to book in my opinion, but I'm not a big reader anymore.
Yeah, me neither, especially as a mama. It's
As
like
a
it gets
mom,
to be
yeah,
played in the background
exactly.
while
You
I'm
can,
doing changing dirty diapers, and then my son gets to receive it too.
yes. It's the only book that I've ever listened to where it activated me.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. Thank you
so
for
Anna,
sharing.
grandmother of Jesus, she has another one about the Magdalens, and I've only listened to part of it, which is it's really good also, but it's Anna, grandmother of Jesus. I mean, girl,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, you'll,
I feel like Magdalene puts me on this treasure hunt where, I mean, I was reading all the Dan Brown books and started like the Da Vinci Code, and I was like doing all of this research and reading all these books around Mary Magdalene's life and who she truly was. So I feel like this is the next layer of, okay, here's more. And then I just feel into and kind of put
yep.
the pieces together as to like who she actually was. So thank you for presencing that. I do feel that I walk this planet with her, and I feel like when I do this piecemealing of her life, it's just helping me connect the dots as to my sacred mission here as well on this planet. So thank
Yeah, I just
you.
got goosebumps. And also, especially because you have a strong connection with Mother Mary too, you know, and Kuan Yin. I mean, that's all the lineage. I mean, uh, uh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's in it's yeah, like you said, it's in your lineage. Yeah, it's there. It's
Thank you.
it's it's very obvious to me. Um,
Thank you.
so
So, is there anything? I know you talked about remembrance, and that's so much of my teachings as well, is just supporting humanity and remembering who they are at their core, and that there's so much bigger and deeper and more beautiful, more beauty and more gnosis than we can even begin to fathom. So I'm curious if you want to share around your school of remembrance. I know that you've got so many different offerings and things going on, but that just felt like I feel like that's a newer offering, is it not? Okay.
yeah, I had a Patreon account. I had a Patreon membership for a very long time. I started it in 2019, and I felt like the world needed community, not social media community, but just a place to come in and just for a moment kind of be held or be heard or be seen. not just receive teachings from me, but more um, kind of dropping into humanity, dropping into being of service and being supported. And so I created this community. It has live events, right? But it has a prayer circle. So there's a sacred space where you just go in and you can either pray for somebody that wrote a prayer, or you can ask for to be prayed on. And that in and of itself is, to me, it's been life changing. We have a uh, a live prayer event that we do every once a month. Um, I do live teachings where I talk about what we're going through and what we're experiencing. Um, there's a global community chat where it's active all day, and it's not social media. We're very firm with our boundaries around what it is. Um, and so it's a lot of just vulnerable shares and people just saying, "Can you help me? Can you?" Um, or I'm just going to remind everybody here of how amazing they are. So it's like a,
Mm.
I don't
Uplifting
know.
community.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not so much like, it's not just about like teachings.
Yeah.
It's also about, because you can get that anywhere, it's
Yeah.
like I can
It's
get teachings
Aquarian age.
anywhere.
Information is everywhere
Yeah.
now.
It's like enough about the freaking information. Can you just come, like, let's just be of service and support each other.
Beautiful.
And so that's a big piece of it. And it really is a very activating, like a very beautiful, it's very alive.
Yeah.
The space is very alive. So it's a membership community, but it's very, very, I just started it this beginning of this year. I just
Okay.
opened it about a month ago to the bigger, bigger world. I just had it with my community, my Patreon community. So I'm just getting the word out right now. And
Beautiful. So does that
yeah.
feel, yeah, is there anything else? Does that feel like your baby right now? Or is there anything else? Obviously, you have your book, Divine Design. We'll put, your website in the show notes and your Lorie Lad on all of the platforms, correct?
Yeah.
On social
Yeah, but
media.
that
Okay.
community that's like, well, yeah, that's what I'm focused on.
And when you shared this at the beginning, when you said, well, social media, it's a mixed bag, but then my community has been supportive. And I believe, right, when somebody's like investing energetically, right, their presence, their time, their money, right, it's different, right? Anyone on the internet can stumble across our content. But when you have somebody that's like an active participant, it kind of goes to show who like the community that you're cultivating. So I just want to
Yeah.
again thank you because I know that it's not easy, and I know the more visible we are and the more followers we get and the more we share ourselves, it can be challenging to put ourselves out there in that way, and we get a lot of unsolicited feedback and a lot of projections, and that's the unglamorous part of being visible in this way. So is there anything you want to wrap up with
Yeah.
that, or anything else you want to share around this conversation, or any other places that you want people
Oh,
to connect with you? The
I
floor
th-
is yours.
I think I mean, it's just been such a beautiful conversation. I feel like we just tipped the iceberg.
Yeah, we get
Wait,
to have a part two,
whatever
I
that
think,
is.
because
Yeah. But I think if I were to leave people with anything, it would just be life's going to keep throwing us curveballs perhaps, but we're all in it together. There's nothing wrong with us, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with me. We're learning a deeper faith, we're learning deeper trust, we're learning how to open our hearts to ourselves and to the rest of the world, and asking for these beings to come in, Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene or Yeshua, asking them to come in and starting to form a deeper relationship with him can be life changing. And why not? Like like, sometimes it's fascinating to me because it's like, okay, I'm going to pay this person all this money, but I won't just go I won't ask Yeshua for help. Okay, so you're going to pay somebody $500 to help you, but you won't ask Yeshua for help.
yeah,
It's like this weird thing where it's like, I don't need to ask for help. I can do this on myself, on my own, but I'm going to go and pay this person to
yeah,
do this. So it's free. Like Mother
interesting.
Mary's free. Mary Magdalene's
My friend
free.
calls that the hotline to the divine.
Yes. I mean, why? Like, try it. Pick up the phone and like try it.
Right?
Just invite Yeshua in. Just say, Yeshua, I'm inviting you into my space. I'm inviting you into my room. I'm inviting you into my car. I'm inviting you in.
Mm.
And just inviting you in right now and see what happens. And it's now more than ever, the planet is prepped for this. Like it's go time, and it's as simple as saying, yeah, Jesus, I am inviting you in. I don't know what this is about. I don't know anything about you, but I'm going to start to invite you in and sit with me and see what happens. Or Yeshua, if it's a better word for you, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, whatever. See what happens. See what
Yeah,
happens.
thank you for sharing that, because when you mentioned that earlier, the we're in such a quick fix society that I think that's why it's so easy to be like, oh, this person, like, okay, they, right, like there's so much in the online space and the guru space, and right, it's like, oh, I can, if you hire me, like this will be gone forever, like I can fix you, I right, and it's like we have at our disposal these allies that can support us in our own healing and transformation, yet it does require devotion and discipline and commitment, and to continue to keep showing up. And I believe we've gotten comfortable as a society where we just want it and we want it now. And so it does
Such
take
a
a
good point.
claiming. It takes a claiming and to continue to show up in the valleys and when we're on top of the mountain, right? It's really that piece that feels important to close with. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
The faith, the faith that it does. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful awareness that you're pointing out. Letting go of the quick fix and having a deeper faith in something bigger than you that you can't see. Um,
Yeah.
and that can be life changing. Yeah. So,
Thank you
yeah.
so much for your time and for your
Thank you.
service
Oh my
and
gosh,
for
thank you
saying
for
yes.
having me. Thanks for jumping on and jumping on my Instagram messages or wherever it was and leaving me that voice note.
It was Mayor Bear. It was
Yeah.
Mother Mary, like, go send her this note. So,
Yeah.
and that's where it gets to be more fun too, because you can just trust in the weavings and the, conversations and how and the unfolding really.
What
So
would you leave with everybody after this conversation?
your attachment is what exhausts you. Because I believe, right, like if we're so attached to what our limited thinking mind, like what we think we need or what we think things are supposed to look like or how things are supposed to go, it's taking up so much energetic capacity in our vessels that could be used for something so much more beautiful and something so much more meaningful. And so that's what I'm committed to. And it's not an easy thing, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so just getting curious. I think, right, like right what you said, not making ourselves wrong for it, and not, trying to banish the part of us that has all these attachments, but just getting curious around like, where can I soften a little bit when I
Yeah.
think I really want my needs met right now, and I really want running water, and I really want my husband here.
And we get to have all that. Like that makes
Yeah,
sense, right? Like, of course you do. Like, oh, I shouldn't be having these thoughts or I shouldn't be
exactly.
having these emotional reactions. It's like, dude, you have no water and your husband's gone and you're by yourself with a
Exactly.
14-month-old trying to run a business and like 100% it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but that softness for yourself and the learning how to have curiosity over judgment is
Yeah.
huge.
And we've got to feel it to free it. So yeah, the point, I feel like we could go on forever, but it's like the non-attachment for me is like a byproduct of like kicking and screaming and like being in
Yes.
relationship with like, I really don't like this, and being okay with not liking this situation that I'm in. Right. And
Amen.
so,
Yes.
yeah. And it's like, and I deserve it. And it's a preference and I get to. And this is why I chose to live in this location and be in this body and have this life experience so that I could have running water. And so I could be able to do what I get to do in the world. So it's
Yeah.
so nuanced. And I love that we're just doing our best, just sharing what's supporting us, and not
Oof.
claiming to have all the answers. And that is one of my favorite things about you. So thank you.
No, we do not have all the answers. And nobody has all the answers,
No,
you know?
we all have a little piece of the puzzle, like I said
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Amazing.
And yeah, so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful teachings and beautiful practice
Thank you.
that you're offering. So thank you for being of service to the world. I mean, as nobody can see, nobody knows what it's like behind the scenes, you know. Nobody knows what it's like behind the scenes for any of us. And I
Can I
think
share? I think I gotta interrupt you.
yeah.
Mother Mary's like, tell her, tell her, tell her. I think I might have shared this. I don't even think I told you this. Maybe I did in my voice message, but why I started following you again is because I got Lorie is the real deal. Like, you're in a season where like no production, come on and share the video. You got mom hair, you got food all over your shirt, your baby screaming in the background. Like Lorie just shows up. She doesn't give a shit. Like she doesn't need all of this hoopla. You're just you. And I've been getting that over and over and over again. Like Lori's the real deal. Like nobody cares about all that other stuff. People care about your aura. People care about who you're being in the world. People feel you before they see what you look like. And what's funny is like people are receiving me in such deeper ways because I'm like, look, I got this message for you and
Oof.
don't mind like what's going on up here with my hair and I don't have
Yeah.
any water and I haven't showered in 4 days. So that feels important. Like you really are being a true model of what it means to be authentic. And that is my definition of spirituality is being ourselves. So thank you for that. Because in a world
Yeah.
of filters and like highlight reels, you truly are the real deal.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think it's a reflection of a deeper sense of freedom for yourself too. That when I think all of us are practicing this, but when we
Yeah.
can be more authentic, we become more free, and it's not easy. It's
No.
not easy, but when you can be more authentic, it gives others permission. Like there's something where you're like, oh, this just feels so good. Thank you for just being a mess. Like you know, if there's something about just being the human right now that is going to catch fire because there's so much that is just not that any longer.
Yeah.
And so just yeah, let this be a testament to just giving yourself more accolades for doing it and also the courage to keep doing it because
Mhm.
humanity needs that.
Yes.
Just showing up and reminding people they're not alone. Um, and if you have to look the way you look or sound the way you sound, you know, so be it. But you know what it is about you? It's you're being called to an even deeper sense of service. And so here's the thing: when you are of service and not a slave to the ego, it's a whole different game. And so the more you commit to being that service, to be of service, to use your vessel as that service, it's not about you. It's about what wants to be, what's coming through. What's being used. Your vessel's used for. Then it's like, okay, none of the other stuff that my ego says matters. It doesn't matter, and that has been a massive game changer for me. Big time. So that I think that's what's happening with you too is a deeper embodiment of service even more because we can always be in that service state more. Um,
Mhm.
and it will test you. It will test you.
Whew. But I also, even though we're being tested, it's like I feel freer and lighter, like you said, every single time that I just show up as my authentic self, and there's something so liberating in that.
I know it is. And, you know, one last thing personally, it's like it gets louder for the more authentic I become, the, the more difficult it is. Like the louder the voices in the head are. It's like, wait, like, why is it getting more difficult to just show up even more authentically and in service? It's like the enemy comes in is like, nope, we do not want that purest expression. Absolutely, like whack it off, cut it off at the legs. And it's like, oh no, I got to really now push through. I got to push through even more now than ever. Um, which is just an interesting perspective, interesting awareness to have. Like, wow, now it's even harder to be. The more authentic I am, the more difficult it's becoming. Like, that's interesting. But yeah, so it's authenticity is quite the embodiment to have. So thank you for you.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
you. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to check out the School of Remembrance, and everybody make sure you go to the show notes for all the ways to connect with Lorie. And I have a
Thank
feeling
you.
we'll be having another part 2 of this conversation down the
Yeah.
line.
Oh, I hope so. I hope
Thank
so.
you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thanks everyone for
you.
listening.
Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, let us know what you think, even if it was triggering, even if you had
Yes.
ahas, like even if you just want to connect, it's just important to have conversations about what's emerging during these times. And all of you is welcome. So
Yeah.
please reach out to us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Sending
Thank
blessings.
you. Bye.
Much love.